Okay, so guys, so we are now on the summary part on the discussions of your five basic sentence patterns. So first is that let's try to have a recap on how to make your sentence pattern SIV. So again, what is SIV? So that is actually your subject plus intransitive verb. Now the question again here is, teacher, how do I know if the verb is intransitive? So again, you can identify that the verb is intransitive if there is no possible answer to question what and who. Just like what I told you on my lecture, guys, that an intransitive verb, if you check the list of intransitive verbs on the internet, you can see several verbs that are included in the intransitive verb. But again, remember that there are actually technical rules that you have to remember, because some intransitive verbs that are listed under intransitive verbs can also be used as what? Transitive verb. So again, teacher, what are common examples of intransitive verb? We have die. So if you use that verb, if you ask the question what or who, then definitely there is no possible answer. For example, what did he die? He died his mother. So it cannot be guys. Or you can say he died the dog. So what did he die? The dog. So does it answer the question what or who? If we use die in a sentence, definitely there is no possible answer. And that's the case how you can identify that the verb is what? Intransitive. So again, guys, there is no possible answer to question what or who. Then, after an intransitive verb, teacher, so what parts of speech should I use? Then that's the time you have to use your adverb. So adverbs can be a simple adverb or its substantive like the adverb phrase or adverb clauses. So for example, he died when? Yesterday. So he died yesterday. So yesterday is an adverb that comes after the verb died, and it emphasizes when did he die. So definitely it does not answer the question what or who. He died when? Yesterday. Where? At the hospital. So he died yesterday at the hospital. So in that case, guys, there are two adverbs that we used. We use simple adverb yesterday. We use an adverb phrase at the hospital. So he died yesterday at the hospital. So always remember that an intransitive verb is followed by an adverb. I told you that you can use also series of adverbs. So you can use a simple adverb, a phrase, or a clause. So let's try to continue our sentence. He died yesterday at the hospital because of because she suffered from embolism. So because she suffered from embolism, then that is what? An adverb clause. That is adverb clause reason. So if you check the sentence, yesterday at the hospital because he suffered from embolism, that is, these are adverb simple, phrase, and an adverb clause. So these are actually adverbs that come after your intransitive verb. So always remember, guys, that is how to construct an intransitive verb. So again, there is no possible answer to question what and who. So what can we use now after an intransitive verb? It is again the forms of your adverb. So is that clear, guys? Okay, now moving on. I also explained in the lecture, guys, that intransitive verb has also its special case. So again, an intransitive verb has also its special case in the form of what? Collocations. So if you could remember, guys, the collocation that I explained in my lecture, there are certain verbs that we use that are followed by a specific preposition. So example, focus. So what preposition comes after the verb focus? Focus on. Depend on. Rely on. Agree? What preposition comes after the verb agree? Agree with. Associate with. Another example of verbs, we have complain followed by complain about, care about, think about, think of. So guys, if you check the net, you can just simply search verbs plus preposition, and the list of this collocation will definitely comes out on your screen. And how to use this combinations, teacher, verb plus preposition in a sentence. And in this case, guys, they are used as always intransitive verb. And since the verb is followed by a preposition, the basic rule in grammar is that if you use a preposition in a sentence, technically it is followed by a noun and pronoun. Again, if you use a preposition in a sentence, that is actually followed by a noun or a pronoun. So teacher, how do we call again the noun or a pronoun that comes after my preposition? Then that is your object of the preposition. So let's say, I focus on my career. So my career there is an object of a preposition. So I focus on my career. I agree with his idea. So idea comes after the preposition with, and that is SIV, preposition plus object of the preposition. So I agree with you. So we use their pronoun. Again, guys, let's review that in case that you use pronoun after a preposition, then we have to use the objective form of your pronoun. So we can use the him, her, it, you, them, and us. So those are the the forms of your pronoun that come after a certain preposition. So teacher, do I have to memorize this certain combinations, verb plus preposition? Yes, because they're actually commonly used in making your sentences, of course, in writing a sentence or in your speaking. Let's say, for example, I complained the manager. That's actually wrong. So we usually say, I complained about the manager. So that is the case of your special linking verbs. Now, going back, I told you earlier that if you check the list of intransitive verbs on the internet, there are some intransitive verbs that can also be used as what? Transitive verb. Like for example, let's take a look at run. This verb usually falls under intransitive. Let's say I run every morning. I run at the park every morning. So in that case, the use of run there is definitely an intransitive verb because what do you run at the park? It cannot be. What do you run every day? So in that sentence construction, run is used as intransitive verb. But in some cases, as I told you in my lecture, that some intransitive verbs can be transitive because sometimes they have different meaning. Example, run, it means manage. So when you say, I run my own company, so in that case, run, it doesn't mean that you run, but it means that you manage your company. So you can say, I run my own company. What do you run? My own company. So in that case, run has another meaning aside from the basic meaning, which is definitely just to run. But run in the sentence, I run my own company, that is simply you manage your own company. So in that case, guys, it means run there is what? Transitive verb. In another case is in case of fly. When you say I fly the sky, you cannot fly the sky. But when you say I fly kite in the sky, so it means fly there is an intransitive verb. So don't be confused with that, guys. So always focus on the meaning, and it's very important also that you try to check other meanings of the verb because they can also function sometimes as what? Intransitive verb and can be transitive. For example, another one is walk. When we say I walk the road, it cannot be I walk on the road, I walk on the street, I walk to work, I walk every day. So those are constructions as intransitive verb. But when you say I walk my dog every day, so you walk my dog. So that's another meaning of walk. In that case, it is used as what? Transitive verb. So do not be confused. Always check if you have a possible answer to question what and who, and check the other meaning of those verbs that fall under intransitive verb so that you can check if the verb is it always 100% used as an intransitive verb, or are there other meanings of this verb that can be used also as a transitive, and a noun is possible to be used after this certain verb. But for some verbs like die, of course, it is always intransitive. I died the dog, I died the man cannot be. So that is how a linking verb is a transitive verb is used. So again, guys, this is a simple summary, just a pure talking about SIV. So how an SIV or subject intransitive verb is used in sentence construction. So technically, this is how we should follow these rules. And if you could also remember, guys, I also explained on my discussions regarding the subject intransitive verb that identifying an intransitive verb doesn't always depend on what or who. Yes, what or who is technically how we can identify if the verb is intransitive. But if you want to identify easier what is an intransitive verb or how to know if the verb is intransitive, number one, guys, is this one. If you're using a dictionary or online dictionary, or if you're using your electronic dictionary, as if you could remember, if you can see the sign IV, for example, die, and then beside is you can see the small IV beside the word, it means IV there is what? Is intransitive. Another one, guys, is that if you check some online dictionaries or electronic dictionary, if you type a certain verb, for example, again, let's use the verb die, and then beside you can see no passive, it means that the verb is what? Intransitive. Again, guys, why teacher? Why no passive? What do you mean by that? Guys, remember that in constructing a sentence, there are two voices of verbs. We do have your active voice and we do have the passive voice. And this will be later on discussed in our next discussion. How to make passive sentences, guys. The basic rule in constructing a passive sentence is that an active sentence must have an object. And if you can remember, an SIV is not followed by a noun and it's not followed by a pronoun. Definitely, SIV is not followed by a noun. So you cannot use that sentence pattern into passive. Because the basic rule again, in order to change a sentence into its passive form, you must have an object. And an object is a noun or a pronoun. And again, after an intransitive verb is not followed by a noun or pronoun. So definitely there is no passive construction of your SIV or subject intransitive verb. So again, guys, I hope I have made clear for everybody about a simple summary of how an SIV pattern is constructed. So coming up next here, we will also be having some exercises later on regarding your what SIV. So is this clear, guys? So again, this is Teacher Christoph. Grammar made easy for everybody to understand how an SIV pattern is constructed. So I'll see you again on my next video. Have a good day and enjoy learning from me. So I do hope, guys, that you have already learned some rules, a lot of techniques on how to construct your sentences. So if you do have some questions, you can actually type your comments on the comment section on my YouTube channel, or you can check my Facebook account or FB account or FB page rather. So you just type Christopher Tabili and you can send me private messages out there if you do have some questions. And in case you also do want to have the list of the verbs plus prepositions, so and basic intransitive verbs. So it's commonly used intransitive verbs. So that's it, guys, and I'll see you again.